everyone, it's Annie from Vintage Lace Journal, and I'm here with another make today. This is a one-page wonder. I'm enjoying them, I think you're enjoying them, and they're just so versatile. This one's a smaller one this time. So let's just show you what's inside. So I've done the front cover on this one with a little brad and just wound round some. This is a strap from, you know, when you buy clothes and they come with those straps on the shoulders or on the skirts to hang them up. I often cut them out because they stick out, so it's just something like that. So I'm going to lay this down. This then opens up, opens down, and then opens down again. And then each one of these opens up to the left, to the right, to the left. I've created little tuck spot pockets in there. And then these flaps, which would be here, I've then cut in half and folded over to make pockets. Now, I've used this as inspiration from Pinterest. I saw this on Pinterest. So I just took a 12 by 12 sheet of paper and worked out what the measurements would be. I know there's probably lots of other tutorials on YouTube like this, but that's where I got my inspiration from this time. And I think it's called like a matchbook mini book or mini album. So there we go. So when we fold it over, fold it over, fold it over. If you wanted to, you could also put pockets on here. The endless possibilities, obviously, you make this your own. Fold it up, could have another pocket here, and then fold it up again. Just be aware the more pockets you put in, the thicker it's going to get. This does have little gussets here and at the top. But yeah, if you put too many pockets in it, it will be really, really bulgy. Okay, there we go. Now, when I do my closure today, I'm going to do it differently because of the paper I'm using. I want to put some embellishments on the outside as well. So the paper pad I'm using today is this one. This is another Craft Sensations paper pad that I found at the range. And this has all got rainbows, lovely papers, some big spots you could hear using your journals, daisy papers. And one of the things I loved about this was these sheets, which is what I'm going to use to embellish this with. So there's balloons and letters, all sorts. Okay, so let's get started. So I've cut a piece of that 12 by 12 paper down to 8.5 across by 11 inches down. Okay, so it's 8.5 by 11. So on the 8.5 inch side, I'm going to pop that up to my measuring here. And I'm going to score at 8 and no, I'm not. I'm going to score at 2 and 7/8. So 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 5 and 7/8. So 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's just one before the next whole inch. Okay. Then I'm going to turn my paper onto the 11 inch side. And I'm going to score at 2 and 7/8. So always remember 7/8 is the one before the next inch. Then at 3 inches, and that creates our tiny first little gusset. Then I'm going to score at 5 and 7/8. And then 6 and 1/8, so that's a little bit bigger this time. Then I'm going to score at 9 inches and then 9 and 1/4. Okay, and that's all our scoring done. And as you can see, I can get the angle right, that leaves us with these kind of like little gussets and two little tram lines again that we're going to cut away. Okay, so that's all my scoring done. I'm just going to take that out of the way. And I'm just going to pop the board up just to stop the glare from my light. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut away these little tramway lines, top and bottom, in up to the score line here. So you've got 2 sets of tramways here and 2 sets of tramways here. Now I'm going to do this on my trimmer because, as you know, my cutting skills aren't fabulous. trouble seeing in my own light. So up to the tram line. And down. Blades come out. There we go. And then cut the other one. I can always trim these up, needs be. And I'm going to go on my next set. A lot of people are really confident cutting with scissors, that's absolutely fine. I never seem to get a straight cut when I cut with scissors. And then on our last tram line down the bottom. And go. So all I need to do now is just get my scissors and just trim those parts off. Now the top tram line will be thinner than the other two. That's because when you fold up you need more of a gap here for your folds. Now I'm going to turn this way, and as you can see I've got my smaller part at the top, which is not the way I wanted it because it's this way up paper. Note to self, make sure you have your paper the right way up when scoring, never mind. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim these two smaller boxes off. Okay, you don't need this part is going to come down and make your flap at the top. So I will cut this bit with scissors. I'm sure I can cut one straight line. So cut that part off there and cut that part off there. Okay, so now if you just fold and burnish all your lines. So remember the ruler trick, if you've got a little thin tram line that's really hard to push down, use your ruler. And as I'm doing this, I will be trimming parts I haven't quite cut. So bring my flap in, and on the other side. Yeah, tram lines here. And this is where the small one is at the bottom. So again, just bring that up, two separate places, and then final fold at the bottom. There we go. Okay, now the next thing you're going to do, which if I just show you on here, is you're going to create our little flaps. So these will create pockets. So what you're going to do is on each side, it doesn't matter which side you do it from, you're going to start at the top and you're going to cut one of these panels in half. So you can either do your left panel or your right panel. Okay, it really does not matter. You can measure it if you want to be precise. I'm quite happy to just cut those in half. So I'm going to do this one here on the right, this one here on the left, and then this one here on the right. So again, I'm just going to bring in my trimmer. So I'm going to do bottom one, leave one, top one. Keep those parts, you might need them. And then on this side, I'm going to do just the middle one. There we go. So those folded over now will create your pockets. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my punch. This is a 1-inch punch, and I'm just going to go in and put my little thumb hole in there, just eyeballing. Same on this one, and on the last one. So now I'm going to come in with my glue, and because this is a pocket, I'm just going to go along the top, the bottom, and then the edge there. Okay, so bring that over. You don't actually need glue at the bottom because it will create a natural fold there anyway. So just gluing down those sides. And finally the last one. This has made such a difference to my crafting. This is an amazing tool, love it. Just get a really fine bead of glue, exactly where you need it. There we go. Now this top pocket here, this is going to be your flap at the top. So I'm going to corner around this because I quite like the cornered look. There we go, and that will fold over like that. So that is the basis of our little matchbook. And now comes a fun part of decorating it. So as I did on mine before, I created some little cards in here. So this is from a nice little fun pack. A retro kind of feel to it. So little journaling cards in there. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. So these journaling cards I'm going to do with an old piece of craft card. One side I'm going to put some of this lovely paper on it, and the other side I'm going to use black leaf blank for journaling. So I've worked out that each little pocket size should be roughly 2 inches long by, what have I done these as? 2 1/4. So 2 1/4 by 2. So I'm just going to cut these down at 2. Just making sure that's right. Right, didn't think that looked right, so I need to cut these down at 2 1/2. They always say, measure twice, cut once. There we go. And I'm just going to corner around those. I always like my journaling cards to have rounded corners. Just think it makes them look nicer. And also when you're bringing them in and out of pockets, this edge tends to curl quicker than a rounded edge. Quite thick craft card. There we go. So now I'm going to choose some papers to go on them. I'm going to cut my papers 2 inches by 2 1/4, and I'll write that down because I will forget. 2 by 2 1/4. I'm at that age in my life where I'm getting brain fog. Brain fog on a regular basis. Says it all really, doesn't it? Right, thinking about the colours that go with this, I've got quite a light colour here, quite a dark colour here. So as I flick through the pad, I'm going to have a colour that I think would go nicely on the front. This is the fun part when you make your journals. Oh, I quite like that. And the orange. I think the orange has got a nice contrast to it. I'm sure you'll scream. One of my ladies said the other day, I was yelling at you to choose a certain type of card for my junk journal, and I did in the end actually, so she was pleased with that. Yep, I think I started to make something else with this. Goodness knows what this was supposed to be. Probably another mini album. Looks like it. It went wrong. Who knows? Okay, so I'm going to use that part to cut down. So indecisive. So they needed to measure 2 by 2 1/4. So I have started Junk Journal January today. I'll upload my page probably on a shorts. I didn't actually realise what shorts were till the other day, or not as in shorts you wear, but YouTube does short videos. I was completely unaware of. It's a bit like Instagram. So sometimes if I upload a video on Instagram, I'll probably pop it on my shorts as well. There we go. So hopefully they should all now fit onto those. So because I've corner rounded my journaling cards, I'll corner round these as well. So, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So if anybody else is taking part in Junk Journal January, drop me a message below, because I'll have a come along and see what you're making as well. I love Junk Journal January because it just gives you, sometimes we're all busy people, and it just gives you prompts and quotes of things to do. And I've got lots of journals that I make. I'm going to pop that on that side. And I just love watching other people do their work as well, so it's always lovely to see what other people are up to. So give me a message below. I'll say hi. Love chatting with you all. It's lovely to wake up if you pop a video up and the next day you come on and there's lots of lovely comments to read. So thank you all for that. There we go. Just going to rub out my measurements. So, pop those in there. I put them in the wrong way. Dear me. There we go. And one in there. So, there we have our little journaling cards. So, I think it looks quite sweet. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create some pockets or little tuck spots using these lovely rainbows. So I've got 2 on this page and 1 on the other page. So I'm just going to cut those out. I'm just going to do one to make sure it does work first, because obviously I haven't actually tried this yet. So I'm just going to fussy cut round it, and then hopefully that will sit there to make a little tuck spot. And there we go, and it sits perfectly. So I'm going to glue, because I've got these little tags to just go in there. So I'm just going to put some glue along the bottom. And then just pop that on the edge there. And then hopefully that will just tuck into there. I might just pop a little bit of glue. Just not that bit. Just to stop it sliding at the bottom. These are pre-bought tags. I found them in a local shop, and I've just cut a little bit off the bottom because they were just a little bit too long for this project, but I'm going to decorate those in a moment. Okay, so I'm just going to pause the video while I do the next two rainbows, because obviously you don't need to sit and watch me cut two rainbows out, and I'll pop back on once that's done. So there we go. So they have just been stuck on just on the end, and they've created little tuck spots there. Again, if you wanted to do more pockets on these, they're like a corner pocket, which is what I did on these ones here, then obviously you can do that as well. It's entirely up to you, your journal, your choice. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is with these little tags, I'm just going to take off these brain fog hits again, string, that's the word. And I've got 3 little tags left there. Now I found the easiest way to do tags is to cover. I'm going to leave obviously the back blank so people can write on those, and then I'm going to cover them in paper. So this time I've chosen this lovely Ditsy Daisy print paper. So all I'm going to do is cover the fronts in glue, stick those on the back, and then just cut them out and re-punch the holes back in. Because I find that's just the easiest way to decorate a tag. Okay, so first one, and stick to the edge if you can, because obviously that's less cutting. Give that a good push down, let those glue go into the fibres. Oh, that's fine noise. Small gap. Yep, and last one. There we go, pop that one just there. To be fair, this is beautiful paper as well. Could have done 2 on one and 1 on the other. Okay, now I'm just going to take my larger scissors and just cut those out. I haven't done any inking today because I think this paper is just so beautiful that we get so used to inking things up, and sometimes I just don't think it needs it. If you've got beautiful papers, you don't always need to ink the edges. Oh, quite cute. I like those. Just move that out of the way. So then I'm just going to come in and recut my holes. There we go. And just thread those threads back through. I'm just going to double these up because they're quite long and I don't really want them sticking out of the top of my journal. Mini book. Okay, there we go in there. Thread them through and just cut that last part. I think I'm going to hit a problem in a moment. We shall see. I love it when you're crafting and you can see something that might not work, but still we carry on. All fingers and thumbs. Last one. So by folding these in half, it just makes the tag top a bit smaller. Otherwise it's just going to be, it will poke out the top anyway by the looks of it. Which might be my problem when I'm trying to fold the matchbook back up. We'll see. I might be overthinking it. Last one. Right. Okay, so they've actually kept in quite well. I'm quite impressed with that. So fold over, fold over, fold over, fold over, fold over. Whoa, that has made that quite chunky. It's because of the tassels in here, but because we've got that gusset in there and the gusset at the bottom here, it does actually fit and it does actually close up, so it's not too bad. Okay, I'm going to now embellish this. So the first thing I'm going to do is, like I did on this one here, so when these pockets close up, it's nice to have something as a focal point on each of these pockets down here. So as I close those ones up, I'm going to have something on here. I'm quite sure why that's not there, unless I've measured that one wrong. Yeah, so a focal point on the front of here, and again there's some beautiful decorations on here, so I might cut some balloons, pop some little balloons on there, or there's some flowers, I might fussy cut those. So I'm going to put something as a focal point on each one of those. This one again, when it closes up, I'm going to put something as a focal point on there, and then not the top one because that obviously makes your front cover, which I'm going to decorate next. So I'm just going to pause the video while I just do some fussy cutting just to decorate these 3 panels. So there we go, I've decorated up those panels just with some of those die cuts, and I've put them onto foam pads just to lift them slightly off the page. And the last thing I need to do is obviously just decorate the front now. So what I have actually gone and done ahead, even though I said I wouldn't, it's just on the front, just around this very flap here, just a tiny little bit of inking, just to lift that page from the other bottom part, which is obviously the same. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a closure. So this time I'm going to use a hook and loop, which is a sticky pad. Okay, so like I normally do, take off one side, and I'm going to stick that to the top flap. Push it really hard, and then peel off the other side. So when I pull that down, I know that's in the right place. Okay. So from this sheet as well, I've cut out a moon, and I cut out the letters to spell the word love. I'm going to pop that along the bottom. So here we have a cute little moon. I'm just going to pop on the top, and then I've just got the word love to go down the bottom. And I've again used sticky pads just to raise those up slightly from the bottom. And there we have our little Matchbook mini album from one sheet of 8.5 by 11-inch paper. So open that up, go down, down again. We've got our lovely little embellishments on there, and then open up for our journaling cards down the centre, and our little tags for journaling in the little tuck spots on the side. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today. Like I said, please leave a comment, if you like the channel as well, or you like what I've done, and keep an eye out for my shorts to do with my junk journal. Thanks for watching. Big crafty hugs. See you all again soon.